Senator, we now recognize the gentleman from Arizona, Dr. Gosar.
Senator Lee, thank you so very much. This just brings point of reference that this isn't the only thing that you may have seen as a violation of our Constitution, because it seems that we feign these rules when we want them, and then we disdain them when we choose to avoid them. Are there any other things that you have seen this administration do besides these appointments that have bothered you in regards to the Constitution, violation of the Constitution, rules and regulations?
I've had a number of disagreements with this administration, both on matters of policy and on matters of constitutional interpretation. Let me just focus on two or three. One dealt with the President's decision to engage the United States in something that I consider a war in Libya without a declaration of war from Congress. That is a congressional prerogative outlined in Article 1, Section 8, and not only did he not get a declaration from Congress, but he didn't even consult Congress. He sort of advised a few leaders in Congress as the jets were on their way to undertake that action, but he never got a declaration of war. I wasn't real pleased with that. Nor was I pleased with the President's decision to sign legislation that I read as undermining the Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment rights of individual Americans that can be read as I read it, to give the executive branch the power to detain indefinitely even U.S. citizens without trial, without a formal grand jury indictment, without the right to counsel or trial before a grand jury based on an allegation that they've become enemy combatants. He signed that while protesting it, but I disagreed with his decision to sign it. I certainly disagreed with the policy and the constitutional analysis that went into the passage and signing by the President of the Affordable Care Act, and I disagree with the constitutional analysis outlined in this 23-page memorandum written by the Office of Legal Counsel. Very good lawyers, some of the very best I know, and they did the best job that they could, but they came to a conclusion that is wrong.
So, Senator, so if we exert, trump the Constitution, the checks and balances are relatively slow, are they not?
Yes.
So you have the monarchy looking at the ability to enforce or push something forward without having a means to correct it very quickly.
Yes. Yes, that's right. And the fact that it's slow is by design. That's how we prevent the undue accretion of power to a chief executive, which the Founding Fathers knew presented some danger to individual liberty in America. And that's why we split up the power of the chief executive. Now, it's interesting. Every time our Federal Government has expanded, and every time the authority of the executive has expanded at the expense of the Congress, and every time Federal authority has expanded at the expense of the States, you've always had one common ingredient, a president, presidents like Woodrow Wilson, especially Woodrow Wilson during and in the lead-up and the aftermath of World War I, who have said, look, these are desperate times, and I've got to be able to act, and I can't be slowed down by this elected body who doesn't want to do my will as quickly as I want it to do. If you look back to that era, you'll see that a lot of individual liberties were violated, and you'll see that the government expanded at the Federal level at the expense of the States. You'll see that the President's authority often expanded at the expense of Congress. We need to not make those kinds of mistakes again and again and again. This is the kind of thing that, if left unchecked, will easily turn into another one of those mistakes.
And, I caution my colleagues on the other side of the aisle of upholding rules. I hope they remember that tomorrow.